We hold these truths to be self-evident,
that all men are created equal,
that they are endowed by their Creator
with certain unalienable rights,
that among these are life
liberty,
and the pursuit of happiness.
and the pursuit of happiness.
This is about control, everybody knows, everyone complies. We're the kinds of pros, I don't need a plane, I just hit the road, I do what I want, I can't sell my soul, market about to crash, this is what you chose, ruining the country, I've been that's the goal, you gon' take the mark, I take narrow roads, I'm a man of God, I can never fold.
Synced up, ready to roll.
Welcome to the Protect Your Purpose podcast, where we talk whiskey, business, friends, family, and freedom. I'm your host, Matt Marchese, and this is my today's co-host, and of course, beautiful and lovely wife, Lindy. Welcome to the show, honey.
Thank you very much.
Why don't you do that hi, thank you thing anymore?
Because I feel like that got old. I just
No, in the media world and in like the podcasting world, even, I mean, I don't know, in the podcasting world, we're just entering it, but in all of the media worlds, like sign-ons and sign-offs, consistency is key. I think you should have held on to
You should have
that.
told me that. I didn't.
You
know
could
that.
have, at some point, we could have had merch that said, hi, thank you.
I mean, we are about to come up on our 50th, so for the back 50, you can just
All right,
keep
let's
it that.
start over again. Welcome to the Protect Your Purpose podcast, where we talk whiskey, business, friends, family, and freedom. I'm your host, Matt Marchese, and this is today's podcast co-host, and of course, my always beautiful and lovely wife, Lindy. Welcome to the show, honey.
Hi, thank you.
Yeah, it's incredible how you can do that, like on fucking. It's very natural to you.
Yeah.
It's your thing.
My favorite was, damn fucking right.
Oh yeah, that was
Lindy's
funny.
fucking here.
That's right. That was awesome. I appreciate all of your little intro quirky sign-ons, if you will. Zach and I are just fucking lame. I usually just make fun of him, and then he usually just kind of takes it and then defends himself. And meanwhile, you bring this consistency and this cuteness and this likability to the show that I just don't naturally possess. So thank you for that, and thank you for remaining married to me. And
So I took from that
I was having a
Lindy-
moment with my wife, and you interrupted, Ian.
Sorry.
It's all right. What we're going to say, I didn't have a moment. It was fine.
That Lindy brings likability to our podcast.
For sure, bro. The shows that Lindy is on are our most viewed shows, our most commented shows, our most liked shows. Lindy has the most liked shorts, the most shared shorts.
Actually,
Well, that's all
Matt,
true.
that's not all
That
true.
is not.
It's not true?
No.
She has our most viewed shorts. You
I have the most liked one.
have our most liked one that's about her.
Boo! Oh, yeah. That's right. Damn it. Fuck. For 1 second, I thought I had a flex, and poof.
I mean, it's your
out the
voice.
window.
People heard your voice.
I mean, I guess so, but they knew they knew who I was talking about. They knew what I was
You
doing.
know how everyone feels about your voice.
Listen, you're a likable person, honey. You've got a likability about you, and
Well, thank you.
She's like, keep going.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
shower
I'm
me.
like, this is awkward. Let's move on.
listen. Let me segue here. My segue, ding. Let me turn that cell phone off here on silent.
Silence your phones and bring the energy, people.
If it means any, yeah, you didn't warn us. And if it means my mom texting me,
Oh.
I'll read it later, Mom. Sorry. If you let me segue, I was gonna say, and the thing that I might like most about you is your patriotism, and I think that's what probably, maybe not most, but many, if not most people love so much about you is how patriotic you are, how much you love this country, how much you love freedom, how much it means to you, how you celebrate that, and how important it is to you. So today, we figured no better fit episode than to have Lindy. You want to switch seats?
No. Why?
Because this is your show today, honey.
No, it's not.
You
Oh
are
my
the
God, she's tearing up.
I know. I'm like,
She's
okay.
literally tearing patriotism.
Yes.
Listen, you want to talk about fucking patriotism. I was in basic training on September 11th, 2001, okay? On September 11th, 2001, plane crash. I know right where I was. I was with my
I did
battle.
not know this.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was in basic training. We were on the rifle range. I was with my buddy, my battle, Matt Summers. And over the loudspeaker on the tower, they announced that American plane has been hijacked and crashed into the World Trade Center. We're on the fucking rifle range. Dude, and then a little while later, they announced a second American plane has been hijacked and crashed into the World Trade Center. I can go on with that story. It's a pretty interesting story. where I was and how things kind of took shape in a training environment. I mean, to make it short, the entire fucking installation went on lockdown, as you can imagine. So there was no more freedom. The little bit of freedom you have in basic training was all stripped and gone, and it was 24-hour guard duty. It just turned into the shittiest. It turned from the shittiest experience, like in a situation where you go, this can't get any shittier, like basic combat training. It did.
Shittier.
It got shittier. Meanwhile, I was in basic training going, fuck this. I'm looking for a reason to get out of this now. I joined for college money. I didn't join for this bullshit, right? Not to sound like I wasn't patriotic or downplay my own patriotism, but dude, this was serious. And this was not what I was expecting. Like, holy shit. It was peacetime and overnight wartime. Meanwhile, I decided that I was just going to go fight the dude that I had wanted to fight up until that day. It had been about a month and some change. And I wanted to, I had the problem with this dude. His name was Oraho. I hope he sees this someday.
Say that again.
His name was Oraho.
Last name.
His last name was Oraho. I don't know how to spell it.
First
I don't
name
remember.
Ora, last name Ho.
No, his last name was Oraho. They called him Oreo. I don't know. It's kind of cheese dick, but Oraho was a punk bitch. And Oraho was my bunkmate, and Oraho annoyed the shit out of me. And you can't fight in basic training because then you get kicked out, right? Meanwhile, I decided I was going to go fight Oraho because I'm like, now I can beat his ass, and if they kick me out, good riddance. At least I'm avoiding war, not avoiding war way. I'm going to go fight Oraho. And I did, and I beat up Oraho, and I didn't get kicked out. In the meantime, my wife was on the other side of that as a civilian still, and decided you should tell your story.
Well,
Hold on.
I'll try not to cry because this is really like, ugh.
Well, the
so
moral
sensitive.
of my story was I was trying to fucking get out because of 9/11, and meanwhile, my wife decided she was going to fucking get in for 9/11 because she's a true patriot. So tell your story.
So 9/11 happened, and I was in high school sitting down, I believe in history class, and they wheeled in TVs, and we sat there and watched it. And within 30 minutes, I left, and I went and met my sister for lunch, and I was like devastated. And after lunch, I went to Hobby Lobby. This is cheese dick too, but
Yeah, whatever.
I went and bought car window paint and a shit ton of flags, and I basically painted my whole entire car, my house. I put flags out everywhere, and a couple hours later, went into the recruiting station on 9/11, and I was like, I want to join the Army, and I was 17, and they're like, well, we're gonna have a talk with your parents. So that night, the recruiters came to my house and sat down with my parents, and my dad basically laughed the entire time and was like, I can't even believe we're having this conversation because we're going to war, and you are never going to make it through basic training, let alone
Booyah!
go through war. And I was like, I know, but I just want to try. Like, what's the worst that could happen? I get sent home. Like, let's do this. Didn't go quite like that because I was crying because he didn't have faith in me. And then when I ended up going to basic training, my parents took me to the airport, and my dad said, I'll see you in a couple weeks because he didn't think I would make it. So, of course, we were all crying, and I had to leave for, 6 months. So when I did graduate basic training, he came, and that was the first time I had ever seen him cry. So, yeah, I joined the Army because of 9/11, and I've always been patriotic. My parents, taught me well.
So is that where you get your patriotism and love
Oh,
for the
yeah.
country? So were your parents both very
Oh, yeah.
patriotic and?
Yep. They were.
Oh,
They were awesome. Yeah, so that's Happy Independence Day.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to see what your guys' kids are going to be like as adults.
Oh, my kids are gonna
you got Lindy that literally just glows patriotism, and then Matt that has dedicated his life to saving the world and freedom. So I mean, these kids,
I know what they're going to do. They're going to take they've already adopted our mindset. They've already adopted we have kids. Funny story, proud moment as a parent, when your kids, I've got like two, what they would classify as ADHD boys, like fucking boys, like we were
Mini
like
Matt.
mini me's, like, yeah, boys like me and my brothers were boys, old school boys that are off the chain. Kaysen will jump, flip, break. Like Kaysen, I have a thing with Kaysen, and I don't want to suppress his creativity or his, problem solving mind. But I have a thing where I tell him, is that what that is made to do? Because he has a problem where anything he finds, he tries to find a secondary use for it. Like never what it's for. A table is not for putting a glass on.
It's a jumping platform.
It's for flipping off of, right? And I mean, a pair of tin snips is a throwing knife. Like anything he can do to enhance his experience with that tool or that, product is what he does. I mean, a love sack, one of those big giant love sack cushions, that is not a relaxation couch chair. No, that's a landing pad for the top level flips.
20 stairs. He jumps and flips off of it.
Anything he can find, it's a secondary use. But I don't remember where I was going with that.
Patriot kids.
Oh, proud moment. Having kids that are difficult to corral, and calm down and put, them being still maybe against our better judgment. We'll see. They've got a really great school with a really great administration who really love my kids, and we really love them. All of their teachers, I mean, they've been rock stars, and dealing with our kids who are probably two of the, if not the two most difficult kids in the school. All we really ask is that they be good kids, is that they have good hearts, that they have a good head on their shoulders. They appreciate shit.
They help people.
They be kind. They don't be assholes. They stand up for what's right and stand up for the underdog. If they do that, I think the rest of the shit will work itself out in life. And we were at a football game, and Steve Winton was there, and he told me, he was like, bro, I just watched your sons walk out of their way when they were going down with friends and shit, and they were a group of kids going down to get concessions at the hot dogs at the concession stand or whatever. And they went out of their way to go over to a police officer and thank them for his service. And, it's one of those moments as a parent where you're like, yes, that's what I'm trying to do. I don't care that they can't get their fucking reading done as much as I care that they're not shitty humans. Of course, both are important in some cases, but they prove time and time again, as difficult as they are and as hard as it is to raise kids, our kids prove all the time that they're following in our footsteps as far as just giving, being good humans, being protectors, being kind, and like everyone, they veer off. But our kids are rock solid as far as what their future looks like, I think.
Yeah, their beliefs and their morals are very much, I would say, very, very much like ours.
I'll tell you this much. You're not going to...
They also want to be like their dad, so they look up to him quite a bit.
Yeah, I think that's true. I was going to say, I could tell you this. You're not going to get my kids to bend to a social pressure. Anything that is told to my kids that they don't think seems like it's in line with our core values and our family values, and our total, overall belief system, they come home and they ask me, hey, my teacher told me this today in school. And I could tell you, if I've got an influence in their life who is trying to push,
think of that book,
a trans movement, right? Oh yeah,
they read the book, and that's how you found out what was.
Hey,
in that
Dad,
book.
Doesn't seem right.
This dude's talking about his boners, Dad.
This dude's talking about boners. What's going on here, right? I mean, if you're trying to push anti-American rhetoric, if you're trying to push a trans movement, if you're trying to push liberalism, if you're trying to push anything that goes against ours, our kids are very smart, very articulate, and very able, like a high EQ, a high social awareness, to where their behavior isn't always great, but when they see some shit that's wrong, they're quick to tell me about it. So I don't, and as long as you have, I think for the parents out there, I think as long as you have that level of communication with your children to where they can come to you comfortably and ask you a question without fear of any sort of backlash of that, I think that's where you get to make the change. You can send your kids to a school that doesn't perfectly align with every single thing that you believe in, as long as your kids know that that exists and they're comfortable coming to you and doing that. Lindy and I have a really cool roles system with our kids. I mean, I'm the disciplinary on our kids for sure. And when Lindy goes sideways on them, like all parents do with frustration and anger, I'll usually be like, whoa, you don't do that. Why? Because you have to be their safe place all the time. They can have, I want them to be comfortable going to me, but they have to know for a fact that they can come to you for every single thing. And we kind of created that where they'll, shit, they just told you the other day about something, I don't remember what it was, something about sex or.
I don't know.
Anyway, shit. Trying to think of what it was.
Did they hear you guys having vacation sex or something?
No.
No, they weren't with us on vacation. they were at my mom's house. Nobody could hear that. Ian, why you got to bring that up in the Patriot? This is a patriotic episode. Anyway, we've got a really cool deal with our kids, and I think
Also love 4th of July, not just for the, the fireworks and lighting them off, but they also love the music. They also love the parades, everything that goes along with the 4th. Which we've done a really good job with that while they've grown up.
Yeah.
4th of July is my ultimate favorite holiday.
Yeah.
So, moving on. What is your
No.
what is your memory?
we're not moving on. This is the whole episode.
Oh,
You better get a grip.
What were you saying right there? I think you were segueing, Lindy. What were you segueing?
No, hold on.
he's those. I gotta.
You were segueing. Weren't you going to something else we perhaps talked about, maybe mentioning? Yes, we're going to talk about sort of a favorite 4th of July memories growing up today. But before that, pre-segue, today actually is the 4th of July. So we are recording on the 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July, everybody.
Happy 4th of July, everyone. Yes, it might be like the 5th or 6th or 7th or something by the time you hear this. Ian's still working on our schedule. I'm just kidding. We've been super busy. We've been traveling. We've been all over. We're trying to make sure we stay true to a schedule. So it lands Ian coming into work, which probably doesn't really feel like work because he gets to hang out with two of his very most favorite people
in the whole
wide world. We get to talk fucking patriotism and America, which I know Ian does love. But today's the 4th of July, so happy 4th of July. Last night, we were lighting fireworks off. So my daughter and I recently have done this thing where I'm trying to get my kids, my boys and I have always done it. So if we go skiing or whatever, or snowboarding, we stop on the mountain. And one time a few years ago, I was like, hey, do you guys ever stop? Because they'll like go off trail without me. And a couple years ago, we got them earpieces and let them run, one run on the mountain over and over again by themselves. And I just stay in constant communication. And with two-way radios. And a couple years ago, we were sitting there, and I asked them at the top of the mountain, do you guys ever just, we sat down for a break, took a picture, and I said, do you guys ever, what are we drinking today? Shit.
Wow. Please subscribe. Smash that shit.
Yes, subscribe.
Smash that bitch.
Smash that bitch. Oh, my God.
I was trying to be quiet.
Oh, my God. You guys haven't even had... you guys haven't even had a sip.
We're 20 minutes into this episode.
This is what happens when we talk about America and we're so patriotic.
Nothing else matters.
Damn it.
Our brains don't work.
Damn it.
Well, Lindy, what are we drinking today?
I don't even know what's in here. So
that
but
I
it looks
changed.
really good.
I changed that from our house whiskey to
Buffalo?
no to the Basil Hayden toast because that's
Wendy's
what Wendy
favorite.
liked.
That's right.
Yep. So this is your Jimmy Jam. Thanks for pouring, Zach. I appreciate it. Zach, Mr.
You look different,
Mr.
Zach.
Butt Chin.
You
Yes,
look
do.
prettier.
You look shaved, prettier. It's something that I'm also super proud of. Talking about what my kids are going to appreciate, man. My boys and I on the mountain, I said, hey, do you guys ever stop and just soak up the views? Like ever just stop and appreciate shit? And they both looked at each other. I mean, they were probably 9 and 10, 10 and 11 maybe. 9 and 10 probably. And Cash looked at me and goes, all the time. And I'm like, all the time? What do you mean? He's like, oh, every time we're up here, we stop and we look. And they overlook the mountains and they soak up the views. And when we go to the beach, when I go visit my mom in Daytona, we go to the hotel, we walk on the boardwalk, we stop, we soak up the energy, we soak up the views. And just recently we went to the Dominican and I took my daughter.
My favorite.
And I said, hey, baby, do you want to go outside and soak up the views? And she's like, yes. What the fuck is that? Yes, I want to go do that, but I don't know what it is. And what it really consists of is just going out, sitting, stopping and smelling the roses. Just stop and appreciate the shit you got on. Just appreciate the shit you have going on. Talk about what it is. So I go out and I sit there and I kind of lead the soaking up the views, same way I do with the boys on the mountain or the beach. And I say, what's your favorite part? So Cora is like digging this thing. And we've done it now several times since, where anytime there's a view, like, let's stop real quick, soak up the views. What's your favorite part? She'll identify what her favorite part is. We'll have a whole conversation on it. And last night we were outside in the driveway just lighting off our first round of fireworks.
Our neighbors put on this huge
Show,
right?
and I look up and I'm like, Cora, the views. And she goes, we get to soak up the views. We popped in a chair real quick. We laid, we watched what's your favorite part and had this whole thing. So to kind of wrap up the kids section of the Patriot Party episode, dude, there's no doubt that my kids are gonna, their feet are gonna be pointing in the right direction. They're appreciating shit. They're stopping and smelling the roses. They're kind. They're self-sufficient. I mean, we talk about all the time. We can leave them at home for a month. Not only would they stay alive, they'd eat, like Cash would cook for them. Kason would have the entertainment for Cora, the fun.
Yep.
They would have this thing. I mean, they'd break a lot of shit.
A lot.
There would be a lot of shit broken.
But they'd be alive.
And Cora
Yeah.
would clean.
Cora would have it cleaned up. Yeah, it'd be like a fraternity house with like a house
I
mom.
think by the end of it, Cora would be in charge.
Oh, I think so too.
100%.
for sure.
For sure.
So this morning, to add to that, I was taking Cora upstairs to get her dressed. And the boys are like, Mom, what does your shirt say? And my shirt said, just a mom trying not to raise liberals.
Which is the best shirt ever.
And Kason goes, Mom, what's a liberal again? And Cash goes, it's those Biden, the people like that like Biden and like the trans people and whatever those
Furries.
furries. I was like,
Maybe we ought to better educate them on what a liberal actually is. But listen,
but just
they
their
know what they're
little
talking.
young minds.
Yeah. Shit, I have another story about them. I'll skip the story.
No, I want to hear it.
Well, it was about Boswell. We've got a friend who's a cop, and he's like this super high energy cop. I don't even know if I want to tell this story, but
I don't even know what story it is.
we were at Walmart, and we see our buddy, and he is one of the coolest people you'll ever meet. And he comes, and he's just, "What's up, boys?" and fist bump. What's going on? Big hug for me. What are you guys doing this evening? Just this giant energy just takes over wherever he goes. And we say our pleasantries. We have our brief conversation in passing in Walmart. The boys pass. He passes. He goes away. And Cash looks at me. He's like, "That guy's a cop, right, Dad?" I'm like, "He sure is." "Why do you ask?" Or no, I go, "He sure is." And Cash goes, "That's cool." And I'm like, "That is cool, but what do you mean?" He's like, "I don't know. Just doesn't act like a normal cop, And I'm like, "Uh-oh. What does this mean? Let's go." I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he said, "I don't know. Just not like what cops are known for." And I'm like, "Well, good cop. I mean, cops like him are known for exactly that. Like, but what do you mean?" And he's like, "I don't know. Cops are like racist sometimes." And I'm like, "Oh shit." And here it goes.
He just
got it. Like he's about to get it. I said, "Okay, explain." I'll skip the rest of the story, the long form, but ultimately end up having a conversation with him. And he's like, that whole George Floyd thing. I'm like, what do you know about George Floyd? And then it promotes this really good conversation on what the reality is versus what the propaganda, what the media feeds us is. Like, yeah, dude, there are bad cops, but you know how many times cops like Boswell are recognized for that, the impact they have on passing families in Walmart and the impact they have on community involvement. I mean, everyone knows this dude somehow.
Oh yeah.
Such great energy, such a great dude, great community leader, and of course, even my kids. It could happen to anyone, and it's probably a good thing to have this conversation because I don't care who you are. You have to explain to your kids the difference between good cops and bad cops, good educators and bad educators, good media and bad media. You have to explain to your kids because the world around them, the information around them is collapsing on top of them in one single, solitary, scripted message from the powers that be. Even my kids could get the perception that cops are racist.
Obviously,
Why?
yeah,
Yeah, because they're on TikTok and they're on fucking Instagram and they're on the internet, and then at school they're on CNN 10 and they Black Lives Matter this, and they the LGBTQ this, and why? Because the media chooses to discuss and press and politicize every single below the line matter possible to groom our children and to shape our children into what they want as adults. So listen, even kids like ours, who we've just given probably 5 or 6 examples of how they're pain in the ass, punk ass kids, but have their head on their shoulders heading in the right direction. You can lose track. It's easy. Don't get complacent for the parents out there who are just parents out there trying not to raise liberals or whatever your shirt says. It's fucking hard. Explain to your kids what a liberal is. Explain to your kids what a conservative is. Explain to your kids what just doing the right thing is and not following the social norms, because the social norms are what drive culture, and they're trying to drive culture into chaos, which we've talked 1,000 times. Shape your own kids' cultural norms, and you have to do that by constantly
lead them
educating.
by example.
Yeah.
So.
Which doesn't have to be perfect.
No.
We are far from perfect. I know, dude, we have people all the time who just think we're this perfect fucking family. And I'm like, no, dude, we struggle too. We had fast food. We're doing all the shit that goes against. We ate McDonald's. It had to have been a couple times over the week. We're on vacation. My mom, I hate McDonald's. I truly think it's poison.
Despise it.
I despise it. I see the golden arches the same way I see the 5G towers. Like, it's there to poison us. It's there to fucking destroy our bodies. It's there to destroy our lives. It's there to make us sick. It's got crack in it. That's why those fries are so good. I'm pretty sure it's crack. Crack fries. And guess what? When you're on the go, it's hard. You're competing against the entire world system that they're putting us on. And you don't have to be perfect, but you got to keep plugging and you got to keep trying and striving for perfect. And even though my kids know that McDonald's is crack and then McDonald's is poison and it's bad for their body, I'm telling you right now, I've got a 4-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 13-year-old who very clearly understand that McDonald's is not good for you. And that if you eat it, it's fine. Moderation is what it's going to be.
Like once a year.
Right.
Twice a year.
Maybe more than once or twice a year. I mean, it would be my goal.
Right.
Once a year would be great.
Yes.
But again, teaching them, being relentless about the message, the messaging, the information. The messaging coming from everywhere else on the information is anti what our messaging is. Almost everywhere else. 95% is negative to what we're trying to accomplish. So I have to outproduce them by like 195% in order to gain my traction. And that's what we're doing. That's why we do the podcast. That's why our kids listen. That's why I lecture them more often than they want. That's for sure.
We're far from perfect.
We're far from perfect. But we try.
Every day.
We're going for it. So keep trying. All right. Woof.
Woo.
Woof.
That was high energy.
Well, shit. It literally was nothing what we planned on talking about.
I know. It's okay. It's been 30 minutes.
I think patriotism is the most important thing for our youth.
And that's what we're most passionate about because we don't want to lose our country.
And get it isn't going to be the 40, 50, 60-year-olds that save it, man. It's going to be the 11, 12, 13, 15,
They're our
20,
future,
20,
man.
30.
Why do you think they're trying to be brainwashed?
Yeah, dude.
They are our and our country's future.
Yeah.
And it's up to the parents to choose how that goes.
Yeah, man. I think so. Yeah, I'm glad we started. I don't know how the fuck we even got onto this kids youth thing, but talk about value on our mission to, as Ian alluded to, truly save the world and save our culture and save our freedom. The kids, man, I think they're going to gain. They're going to continue. They already have. They're going to continue to gain headway. They're going to continue to take our freedoms. They're going to continue to create space in between our old social norms and news. But I think the generation now, the young teenagers now, are going to be the ultimate say-so on whether or not, 10 years from now, when they're in their 20s and they're approaching their 30s, and their war age and their revolution age and their gun carrying age and their voting age, and those are going to be, I hope, hopefully we still have an election this upcoming term. Who knows what could happen? I mean, how far we've come is crazy, but I think focusing on our youth is the biggest and best long-term investment and long-term play we can. And parents of conservatives and Republicans, even if you don't fully understand that you're supporting uniparty members, they usually have, just like the Democrats, man, they've got the best intentions. They don't have any idea that they're supporting communism. They're sold this fucking lie that socialism is an actual thing. They're sold this lie that socialism sticks. There's nowhere in the world that is a socialist country. It's communism. It's a stepping stone towards communism. And I say it all the time. Like, a lot of my Democrat friends, the level-headed ones, they're just really good people. And the Democrats do such a good job of marketing and selling this dream of this moral high ground and this high road that the dirty capitalist Republicans don't take. Meanwhile, they're all filthy rich and capitalists themselves. But they just do a better job marketing it, man. It's a marketing game. But all in all, whoever you are, understand what's going on and do a really, really good job. I mean, it's a part of my daily to-do list to add value to my kids one way or another. Even if it's a 5-minute conversation or an hour-long conversation, I'm bending my kid's ear every day, because if I don't, we know for a fact someone else is all the time. Every time they get on that phone, someone else is bending their ear. So they sit there like, okay, Dad. Lindy will have to, like, babe, it's been an hour and 20 minutes. They're young. You've lost them. And I'm like, doesn't matter. They're going to listen. But it's working. Our constant parenting and our constant influence over them, I think, has won the game. And I encourage all parents to do the same, especially if they go to public school, right?
Yep.
Okay.
100%.
On to the Borophil, Ian. What was it that you wanted to talk about that Lindy perfect segue into?
Well, I thought with it being the 4th of July, I thought two things that would be cool is, one, each of you to give a favorite 4th of July memory, or just a one that you hold near and dear to your heart. And then maybe to end it, because I'm guessing this will last a little bit at least, is, what does the 4th of July mean to you?
I want to start with what it means to me. Fuck those memories. Let's get Let's get down to business. Yeah. So I struggled with young childhood 4th of July memories. I called my brother. I called Chris up, my brother Chris, and was like, "Hey, man, 4th of July memories. Help me jog some memories." And it was a 5-minute conversation, and he brought back all of my childhood memories that I could possibly need. So I've got some childhood memories. I've got a lot of really fun adult 4th of July memories, but I think we start with you.
Oh, okay.
And is it a choice? Is it a childhood memory or a adult memory? Or
I'm
is
gonna
it
do both because mine are.
Oh, you have both.
Whatever you feel like
yeah.
doing.
All right.
Every year, it was tradition for my family to go to my grandma's house in Central City, Nebraska, and we would all go. And my cousins Anna and Adam, we would walk to the fireworks station every single year, and walk around the whole. It was a small town, but we would walk around the whole small town, go to the gas station, get candy and pop, and get a whole mess of fireworks, and come back to my grandma's house, and we would obviously light fireworks. My family would cook out, do the grill or whatever, and we would light those little snakes, that make black marks all over your driveway. And every single year,
Oh, we know what snakes are.
every single year, my grandma would get so mad because they would make, and every year they don't go away. I don't think they don't go away for a long time, but every single year we would go there and we would see all the little black circles.
Yeah, so the initial burn mark, it basically turns to ashes. The initial burn mark is like a semi-permanent burn, like just the little circle, the initial burn where it catches on fire, it'll stain the concrete for years.
Yeah. So that was we did that from when I can remember until I left for the Army, I'm pretty sure. So good memories with my family and my cousins. Older with children memories. Every year since they could talk and walk, we have had a boat. And we have been out on the boat, doing what I feel like that's the
Who
ultimate.
had a boat?
We did. We had the cutty
Money shot.
The money shot.
Oh,
our having kids. I mean,
got it.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying since childhood every year.
No. Nope. So
Yes, we've had a boat for several years.
yes. So I feel like every year we've been on that boat, and I feel like that's the most American thing you can do is boat during the day, grill out, do fireworks at night. And that's what we've always done with a ton of friends until we got a house with a pool. And then, we lived there for 2 years and had a massive, massive pool party.
Second most American thing you can do.
Yes, exactly.
We're super American.
Now, if you could swim in a pool that's at a lake while fireworks are going while you got a barbecue.
Hyper America.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
And Matt doesn't understand. Like, we just got back from a long vacation, very, very long vacation with our kids. And we had like 2 days in between, which was a golf tournament. And then we went to Florida for Surf Pro Convention. But this is the first year. It's the fourth. And
we're doing the very first most America thing you could do, which is getting on the air and talking about how fucking awesome America is and reminding everyone how fucking important it is to do this on America's days and to celebrate our fucking independence in a time where they're trying to fucking take away our independence.
Yes.
That's what a globalist system would do is we would no longer be independent.
Right.
So all you people out there who are celebrating America's independence, open your fucking eyeballs. They're trying to take away our independence and make it dependence. That's what Independence Day is a declaration of us separating from another government and saying, hey, read the Declaration of Independence. In the first paragraph, it explains to you, hey, there comes a time where it's time to separate political differences, time to go down to natural law, God's gift. This is our fucking land. We're going to run it our way. You do this. And they're trying to change that.
I think that would be
I think that
definition of.
Is that your favorite 4th of July memory, Matt?
Damn it! We're doing shit a little differently on this Independence Day.
Fucking love when we declared our independence.
We're still going to get our fireworks and get our
Barbecue.
not our Budweiser. We're drinking whiskey.
Did you got bison steaks today?
Ooh, no.
I saw something de-thawing in the sink.
It was just
That's
a
Matt's
steak.
lunch.
It's just a steak. And for, I love my words. De-thawing would be freezing. Thawing would be what you're trying to say.
America!
So I think I might have jumped into
Why did I say de-thawing?
Because sometimes we say things like
I say that all the time,
irregardless.
Irregardless?
Irregardless.
Is that not a...
That's not what the word you're trying to say when you're saying
irregardless?
regardless. It'd be a double negative.
Oh, it is.
Counter. It's like de-thawing. It's the same concept.
Is irregardless even a word?
No, I think it's accepted as a word, but definitely not an actual word.
It's accepted for the meaning of the opposite,
Correct.
but we mean it as the meaning.
This is the American way.
Irregardless, let's move on.
We accept fucking such low standards that you can literally take a word that means the opposite of what you're saying, and if you are dumb enough for long enough, we as Americans will just accept it. Like, hey, you know what?
Accepted.
It is a new word, and no one will ever correct anyone.
Matt points
Except
out
for me.
Unless you're on the Protect Your Purpose podcast.
big
That's right.
name people on the news or the president, even with Trump or Biden. He's like, really? That's not
You
a
just
word.
chose. I understand. Listen, now being in like a public setting where I say shit and we say the wrong thing.
But we announce it.
Right. If you have a slip up, like that's cool. If I catch my slip up, like even on the show,
I'll call Zach out.
I'll call Zach up. But if I got a slip up, I'll be like, I'm pretty sure I just made up a word. Can somebody check? Because I'm not sure. I don't want to be that guy. But if you're the president of the United States and you slip up, number one, you should be a good enough speaker to pivot quick, make the change, correct yourself, or come back out and be like, what a dummy, I said the wrong word. The problem is these fuckers think they use the word in the right context, and they don't. They don't even know they messed up. When I mess up, most of the time I know it. I'm like, damn it. I just panicked.
You also got to remember they're not speaking. They're reading something that was written for them. So whoever wrote that should probably be fired.
Oh, maybe what they're doing is,
Or it'll be like
reading a
when they're answering
teleprompter.
questions.
They're actors, remember?
well, we know that, but maybe what they're doing is they just went off script for that.
Right. Or are asked questions.
And they're like, we told you to read the script.
Don't go. Well, you know, Biden announces to everybody if I say too much.
Remember when he turned his instructions?
Oh, dude.
And everyone, they're like, bro,
Which
you just
time?
Well, there was
20 times that motherfucker gets caught with instructions every day of his life
right.
because he's too dumb. He's too not dumb. I don't know if he's
old.
dumb. He's too old to follow these instructions.
You want to know my favorite Biden clip?
Yes.
Other than him falling, is when he gets off the helicopter and they're like, and so there's someone narrating it and they're like, okay, he's going to turn here. And
that's
his
bad.
security guard, they're pointing like this.
Oh,
no, he's going straight. Oh, God, he's on the grass.
He's going
gone rogue.
Yeah, he's gone rogue.
Dude, that is
those
my
are
favorite Biden clip.
Here's the deal with Biden. Well, I want to ask a now.
I want to hear your childhood memory too.
All right, back on the childhood, back on the lame shit. Childhood memories. So when I grew up in Florida, and I was born in New Jersey, and I grew up in Orlando area. My dad. So Florida, there was I think when I was young, they changed the law because I feel like when I was super young, it was legal, but they made it illegal to have any fireworks that flew into the air. I don't know what they like bottle rockets, like a little.
Me and Lindy growing up, that's how Nebraska always was.
It was illegal.
No bottle rockets. You had to go to Missouri to buy
bottle
them.
rockets. He's talking any fireworks.
Well,
No,
he was talking about ones that go in the air.
projectile, anyone that fly, like bottle rockets,
We're talking about the same thing.
or like the cannons that we launch in our driveway now that are like commercial grade fireworks. There's no fucking way you could have any of those. So we used to go, and my brother reminded me of this. My dad, first of all, was like fun dad. He was kind of like me, only better at all that stuff. But he always went to the extreme on everything. If we were going to have fun, it was going to be next level fun, which my mom briefly taught. Like, we weren't Dolphin fans. We were the extreme Dolphin fans. Like, everything was the extreme. So, of course, those laws, we never followed them. I asked my brother, I'm like, what were the laws? He's like, I don't fucking know. I know there were the laws, but we never followed them. Because at least once a year, we would make a road trip to New Jersey, and we would stop. My dad would like go out of the way off the interstate to stop in like, I think North Carolina, maybe. Might have been South Carolina. But somewhere off on an Indian reservation so we can get the illegal fireworks. So we would always be stocked for 4th of July so we can have an illegal firework party. And my dad would just invite all of his friends over. My brother, again, while talking to him about this, he reminded me, again, how similar us and my dad were with groups of friends. My brother put it this way: diverse, rich and poor, black and white others. That's who was invited to our house. It didn't matter. My dad would, he kind of shaped it in this conversation to say like, hey, most people are like, yeah, I've got the same small group of friends that we hang out with, and these are our people. That's who we get together with. And my dad was the opposite. He would invite every one of his friends, all of their kids, and then plus all of our friends. We would come, and my dad would host the 4th of July party, just usually impromptu. It wasn't anything, there was no invite sent out. It was just, yeah. So we'd have every group of every friends you could possibly come
What I'm
would
trying
come
to do
over.
today.
What Lindy's trying to do today, right?
At 1 p.m.
But it gave me a good, I don't know, a correlation between what my dad was and what we are, where we don't have a friend group.
Yeah.
We've got 30 friend groups, or however, maybe not quite 30, but a lot of friend groups. We've got Army friend groups. We've got friend groups from every location where we've lived over the last 20 years. We've got, family friend groups. We've got, old school, high school friend groups. We've got Serve Pro friend groups. We've got whiskey friend groups. Like, we've got friend groups for days. And when we have a party, everyone's invited.
Same goes.
It's the same thing. Like, we're not going to choose who's who. No. Everyone gets to come, and as my brother put, diverse, rich and poor, black, white, and others. Anyone's allowed to fucking come if you're good people, and that's the way my dad was. So if I had to put my finger...
And I feel like that's the way all of our friends are. That's why we're so...
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
there are some times where I'm like, God, I just want one friend group that I can rely on to do everything with us. And then I'm like, you know what? No, I don't.
I don't think
No, I
I want
don't.
one friend group. I think I want 100
Yeah.
friend groups.
Well, I think a perfect example is Matt's 40th or the Christmas party.
Yes.
It just there's obviously people I was meeting for the first time or whatever, but everyone is just so welcoming, and they're your friends for a reason. I think you guys have a criteria of who you let into your life, your kids' life, your family, and those type of people usually mesh well pretty well. And just like, and it's just not just, political beliefs. You guys have, Democrat friends and stuff, but as
Just
who
you.
they are as humans, you know what I mean? So it's times like when you get everyone together that you really see that whatever group, the groups mesh well,
Yeah, good blenders, but as we look through our friend groups, if you're not a good blender, if you're like a high maintenance, like, we just don't have time for that shit.
I'm out.
Like,
you don't have time.
I don't have time for that shit, man. You got to be self-sufficient. You got to be able
Entertain
to
yourself.
Yeah, you got to be able to come to a party and
independent
and
not
introduce
dependent.
people.
Yeah.
You try and lock me down, especially, but us in we just can't. We've got too much going on, and our footprint is so wide with all of our travel through the last 20 years of military service, and our we're in a national franchise system where we've got friends all over the country, all over the world. In our system, like, we just don't have time to, I don't have time to be doing that shit.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's move. We got time. Little bit of time to talk about what the 4th of July means to me. Yes, Ian whispers sweet nothings into our ears. It's
Mine is
very
pretty
loud. In
short
our
and
ears.
simple: freedom and patriotism. And
That's your answer?
yeah, because I don't want
No.
to cry, and I just feel like everybody on this day should reflect on how lucky they are to live in this country.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's super true.
Sorry.
It's hard to have a conversation about patriotism with
Oh
Lindy.
my goodness, Matt's tearing up because
No.
Lindy's yes.
He's a
Yes!
sympathy crier. I always do it.
Oh my
I
God,
see her
that's-
eyes tear and mine do it. No, it's not. It's hard to talk about because it's. I say it all the time. If America and our freedom doesn't mean to you what it means to my wife, then we're all gonna fucking lose, because it has to mean that. It has to mean that in order for us to keep it. And 4th of July, every year for the last 5 years, has been an annual reminder to me that we are an independent society. We are an independent nation, an independent, sovereign nation that is absolutely and 100% unequivocally independent of all other nations. We are only us, the United Individual States of America. And it is a reminder to me that that's what we are in a time where there is a global attempt to destroy that. So where I used to look at all of these patriotic holidays and all of these America holidays and take them as another opportunity to get with my friends and drink and celebrate boats and pools and booze and friends and all of those things, which is important. But more importantly than that, this is important. This conversation that we are having right here today is more important than every single barbecue, every single boat parade, every single family gathering going on right now today. This conversation is more important than that. And that's why I said it doesn't fucking matter what it is. We have to get this episode out. I want everyone to understand that what you're celebrating is under attack. It's not a secret anymore. It's not a conspiracy theory anymore. It's not a fucking theory at all. It's an actual conspiracy being launched against our independent United States. This is it. They are fighting to take our independence away. That's what the new world order, a one world government is. That's what this international trade has become, is they have now made us dependent. We saw it during COVID. We're not independent. We're now dependent. Our government currently is making us more dependent. And we have to continue to fucking fight. And the most important thing, while you drink your beers, and first of all, drink bourbon. There's nothing more fucking American than bourbon. In order for it to be a bourbon, it's got to be made here in a fucking America. So if you're going to drink something and you want to drink America's drink a bourbon. It's the most American of the American whiskeys. And celebrate what's really important and our independence, and understand that if recognizing something is not just enough, we've got to fight for it. We've got to continue to fight for it. We've got to continue to move the needle against the agenda that's trying to take away our independence. And we have to fight to remain one nation under God, because like all wars, it's a religious war, which is why they're trying to take God out of every single thing we're doing and install Satan in everything we're doing. They're trying to destroy our nation. We need to make sure that we remain one nation, only one nation, our nation, under God, only one, our God. Everyone else do whatever the fuck you want. That's what we need to do as Americans. So what America, or what the 4th of July means to me, is American independence, and we need to fucking keep it that way. Salute. I think that's what my wife was trying to say.
100%. I could have never.
Yeah, for sure.
Never done that, and I couldn't have said it better. So,
to kind of go along with that, Lindy and I have had several conversations where, people flee tyrannical governments and flee persecution, and they come to America. And if we let America fall to that same shit, the same losses of freedoms, the same loss of our freedom of speech, the same loss of our freedom of the press, the same loss to our constitutionally protected rights, there will be nowhere else for people to flee. This is it. We've had the conversation. Well, if that goes down, where do we go? We're here already. This is where the fuck we go. We're a part of the very, very small percentage of people who were born into this level of freedom. And I believe that's why we take it so much for granted, because we don't even know what the fuck it is on the other side of this. It's ugly. It's disgusting. And you've got people who have never traveled outside of their own city, their own state, who are lecturing people on freedom. You don't even know what it looks like to live in a society that's not free. You can't even fully comprehend what it would look like, let alone be able to feel it, understand it. Like, you can't even conceptualize the loss of freedom.
You want to talk about women that don't have rights? I mean, there's countries where women aren't allowed to show anything other than their fucking eyes. I mean,
These don't get me fucking started. Yeah, these countries that the liberals and the LGBT community are supporting that are killing gays. Killing them for being gay. Hanging them from fucking helicopters. Yeah, those are the countries. I'm not going to get that's a different episode. We wanted this to be lighter.
Freedom.
Freedom.
America's birthday today.
Freedom, 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 freedom. Okay? We're not so fucking free anymore. I can tell you that. And we're losing them every day. Every time there's another disaster, another crisis, another issue, manufactured or not, whatever it is, they will never let a crisis go to waste. And they create the problem or see the problem and capitalize on a problem. They introduce the solution. The solution inevitably equals another loss of another one of our freedoms, our rights, our birthrights, constitutionally protected rights. And we've got to defend them. We have to stand up, talk about it right now, peacefully protest. Be talking about it. And not on the 4th of July. On the 5th of July, the 6th of July, the 7th of July, the 20th of July, September, November, January, March, September again, August, constantly be talking about it until we are no longer in a surveillance state where you can't even go take a shit without the government being able to have access to it. We have to protect these things. We have to identify them. And also we have to run the risk. We understand we run the risk of sounding like a fucking crazy wackadoo. Like, understand if you talk about the fact that we are living in a surveillance state where literally everything we do is recorded and every move we make, every action we take is tracked by QR code, navigation system on your car, tracking device on your cell phone, tracking device on your AirPods, everything we live in, the Amazon neighborhood mesh network, like it's getting worse. But the 5G towers, it's literally getting worse, where they know when my phone is so dialed in, literally when I take a shit with my phone.
Matt, there is literally a digital version of you that knows your next actions before you do. Like that's there was a documentary.
For sure.
Documentary.
I got you, bro.
Thank you.
Yep.
On Netflix. I don't remember what it was called.
Social
but
Experiment.
Yes. That's one of the scariest things I've ever watched in my life. It's not even a fucking.
If you haven't fucking watched it, bro, it's the scariest. I mean, there's a lot of cool documentaries out there. We've talked
everything you've ever done on your phone is tracked. Phone calls to who?
And
what
the
you've
government
looked at.
has access to it. It's
Everything.
the ultimate loss of all freedoms. It's done, and we have to take a stand. And that's what Independence Day means to me. Happy 4th of July, folks. Believe what the fuck I'm telling you on this 4th of July. Believe it. If I'm wrong, I hope I'm wrong. But if I'm wrong, we'll only be a more free and a more secure society. If I'm right, then we are fucked. Especially if we don't do something and we don't act now. Don't celebrate our fucking independence with beer and boats and parties. Celebrating by talking about how our independence is literally right now under attack. That's what we should be doing on this Independence Day. We should be launching off our fireworks and knowing that at any given moment, the government can stop us from doing that because they don't want us to be too proud. Because collapsed societies are not proud. They take away those fun things. They say, no more fireworks. And guess what they'll do it under? Safety. The guise of personal safety. We're doing it to take care of you guys. Too many fires. We had 9 kids this year die, so no more fireworks. That's what's going to happen when you look up at the fireworks tonight, when you look up at the fireworks all this week, because that's what we do in America. At any given moment, understand those could be taken away from us. Appreciate the fact that we still have those and make moves every single day, conversations every single day, actions every single day to make sure you, as an American, are doing what you need to do to protect American independence and American freedom. That's what we need to do on this Independence Day. That's all she wrote for today's show. Honey, I love these shows with you. They're my favorite.
Mine too.
I appreciate it. I love having Zach and, of course, guests but my favorite ones are with you. Ian, you did a great job. Hey, before we go real quick, I should have asked this earlier and I meant to, but then I went
Smash that subscribe button.
Yes, do that. Maybe you can edit this back in. Do you have a favorite 4th of July memory that you'd like to talk about quick?
Yeah. I mean, it'd be so growing up. I don't really have many just because my mom raised my brother and I singularly. She was single. She didn't raise us singularly. The guy'd be like, I'm stuck in this side house.
Yeah, sure.
But and she's hates fireworks, so 4th of July was never really greatly celebrated when I was younger. But I obviously changed that for my kids. So I don't know. Probably the biggest memory was 3 years ago. Dropped like $500 worth of fireworks, and we created like a 10-minute long fireworks show of taping fireworks on a really like 20-foot long fuse, and my kids were just amazed. And then it finished off with one of the fireworks falling over, and it started shooting artillery shells in every direction. And so when it'd shoot, well, they can't see, but when it'd shoot to the left, it'd tip it over to the right, and then it'd shoot to the right. I mean, it's literally every direction. So me and the kids, everyone's running in different directions.
Shit.
No one got hurt, thank God, but everyone remembers that moment, especially my neighbors. So
for those of you who don't know what artillery shells are, those are the ones that fire 100 feet in the air.
Realistically, those probably shouldn't be legal, but thank God they are. I'm glad they are. But they probably shouldn't be.
Absolutely should not be legal. I remember my first 4th of July in Nebraska. We went to Dusty Tome's house.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, a backyard like on a farm. It was like a high-level professional fireworks show in this dude's backyard.
And you can just go down to the local fireworks store and buy them.
Bro, I remember looking at Lindy going, I cannot. Like, I sent videos to my friends, like, look what they do in Nebraska.
We don't fuck around.
They don't
here.
fuck
go
around.
Big or go home.
Artillery shells are dangerous.
Do you even have to be a certain age to buy those?
I think you have to be 18.
I do.
Do you?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't think a kid can go in and buy him.
I mean, I think a kid could go in and buy them, but I think you're
I
supposed
think they could too. Because yeah, dude, those. I mean,
come on, what are they
dude,
gonna
we
do?
used to
fireworks.
Dude, we used to
stand?
take artillery shells and we would just treat them like a grenade and light it and throw it. And so the thing with an artillery shell is it essentially has two explosions. It has the launch explosion, and then it has the explosion. So the great thing about lighting an artillery shell and throwing it is you don't know if you're going to get far enough away, because if the initial launch shoots it at you, you're fucked. But it's just a fun game.
Well,
And
That could
This-
end very badly.
And this is how people, 23 people a year,
Die from fireworks.
die from fireworks on the 4th of July. Ian, one last thing. What does 4th of July mean to you, bro?
I mean, I hate to piggyback on what you said, but I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head. I mean, it's outside of just celebrating and it being a family holiday. You'd have to remember that this is America's independence, is when we separated from a tyrannical government, and created our own government and made a home for anyone in the world, that is seeking freedom. And we are essentially the poster child of freedom, and that is what Independence Day is, outside of also an amazing movie that Lindy's never fucking seen. But
I knew
that's what Independence Day is.
I love you guys.
We love you too.
Sad Grady's not here today.
I know.
He
We
had
miss you, Zach.
Yep. I know. I talked to him earlier today. He's protecting his purpose and preaching our freedom out at a family gathering. He couldn't make it today, but great show. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of the listeners, followers, viewers, watchers, all the people who are supporting our mission and supporting our purpose. We appreciate it. Make sure you share the show, like it, smash that subscribe button, share the show. It means the world to us. And a message like today's should be shared, because it is so frequently and so often forgotten why we are doing this and why we are here and why we're able to do this. And how important it is that other people understand it. If you share any shows, share this one. I think we did a good job talking about protecting our youth and protecting our freedom, our constitutional freedom, and our independence on such an important day. So thank you all for all of your love and support. And our purpose is independence and freedom. And we, I think, did a good job today of displaying our protection of it. So
I just cried. You did it well.
yeah, message to all of no, you cried and did it well. And Ian, of course, as always, did a good job. Anyway, make sure you subscribe, like, do all that shit, and as always, find your purpose, serve your purpose, and protect your purpose. People,
Happy birthday, America.
Yes,
Happy birthday, America. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Freedom.
The unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. When in the course of the human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with one another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness.
Here we go, motherfuckers. The worst allowed reader in the history of allowed reading. The unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. To secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their powers from the consent of the governed, that wherever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and to institute a new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and their happiness.